And welcome everybody to a very special episode 13 of Comic Confidential, the weekly podcast where we normally bring you heaps of stuff, but tonight we talk nothing but Captain America Civil War. I'm your host and proud Team Cap supporter Troy, and with me as always, the lover of superhero registration acts and staunch Team Iron Man supporter, boo, Kade.
You dickhead.
Did you hear those boos though?
No,
that was the audience, man.
I heard boo-earns.
Boo-earns. I was saying boo-earns.
Yes, well, that's right. There's tonight there's no fucking around. No TV, no comics, just the two of us talking about quite possibly the most anticipated Marvel movie in recent times, Captain America Civil War.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the pros, the cons, the casting choices, what it means for the MCU moving forward as a whole, some Easter eggs, and of course, we'll give it our final rating out of 100, because that's what we do with kick-ass movies.
Yeah, we do. 100.
Hundreds.
Just nothing but hundreds the whole time. Look, so normally this is the part, I guess, where we talk about the financial success of this movie. But because it hasn't actually opened in North America yet, sorry guys, you do have to wait like a week longer than the rest of the world for whatever reason. So we don't really have a lot to go on. From all reports, this movie is set to like make an amazing amount of money. And we have hit $84 million in the first 3 days that it's been open worldwide, which is great.
Yes,
it is great.
Okay,
because when you look at like that's so that's a 3 day total without North America, without being a complete worldwide open so far. It's a lot of money. It's set to make $200 million in its first weekend. I think this movie is going to be massive, and I think the more people see it, the more they'll realize they need to go and see it again.
Well, that's right. You know, it's following Marvel's cookie-cutter approach to their movies. You know, cater to everyone, you'll get everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. I guess that's where kind of Batman vs. Superman fell down a little bit, because it was very much catered to a specific audience.
Yeah, that's right.
Marvel does that really well.
Yeah, but, however, Deadpool did change that.
It did.
So, be interesting to see how all this shit happens from now on.
Yeah. I guess if you want to talk about rave reviews and scores for the movie and that sort of stuff first, to give you an idea of I think the potential success of this movie, 8.7 out of 10 on IMDb already, 81 from Metacritic, and 94% certified fresh from Rotten Tomatoes. Audiences and critics are loving this movie.
Yes. Are the critics allowed to say anything bad about it yet, though?
It's out. It's done. They can release whatever review they want. It's up to the individual whether they want to read it.
They don't have to wait till North America releases it?
Not at all.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, and there's no reason why they should.
Yeah.
It's basically the movie has been released. Any of this pre-hype that, where they have to kind of keep their lips sort of sealed a bit,
yeah,
that's done.
Okay.
The movie is out. People have seen it, and a lot of people have seen it, so they can talk about it all they want, and they are loving it so far.
Cool. Now, before we really get started into this episode, spoiler alert.
Oh,
this whole episode. If you have not seen this movie, download the episode and listen to it later.
Yes.
Pause it here and come back.
We are giving you an opportunity to save yourself from definite spoilers.
Because the first words that will probably come out of our mouths will be wrecking everything for you.
Yeah.
So, pause now.
And we're back. All right, so look, if you haven't paused and you haven't seen the movie, shame on you. We're going to ruin it for you for sure. First off, I want to talk about a couple of newbies.
Okay.
The newbies that popped up in this movie. Obviously, we have Chadwick Boseman, who is T'Challa, or the Black Panther.
Yes.
And I think, and we're going to talk about more about the characters a bit later, but I think the level of preparation that he put in for this role, I think really shone through. Well, you didn't really sort of see him so much, without the mantle on,
yes,
I guess.
Yes.
The accent and all that sort of stuff. Everything that he did, I think played off really well.
Yeah, that was spot on. It was really, really good.
Yeah, I think it was really good, and I think we'll see a lot more of that when Black Panther comes out next year.
He is a man where laws do not affect him.
Yeah, basically.
Really? And is that because he's royalty, or is that because you can't get thrown in jail if you're got a costume on.
Look, if I've learnt anything from Lethal Weapon 2,
Yeah.
it's diplomatic immunity.
That's right. What I was looking for.
Yeah, diplomatic immunity, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I have no idea. But he is a king now.
He is a king.
Spoiler alert, his father dies, and that's how he becomes king. But yeah, I think he played it really well. I look forward now, especially to see the Black Panther standalone movie.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about Elizabeth Olsen to a lesser extent, because it's not like this is the first movie that she's popped up in.
No.
But it's the first movie that she's had a much bigger scope rather than Age of Ultron, where we sort of were introduced to her and she did a little bit of stuff here and there and all that sort of stuff. I think, we got to see a bit more of a scope of her powers, which I think was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, we got to find out that she's still getting this under control, especially in the first scene of the movie where she basically blows up half a building.
Yeah.
Killing, how many people?
11 people.
Was it 11?
It was 11, yeah.
Yeah, it's quite good. What do you think of her accent? Do you think she's nailed it? Because I found it was going in between. Yeah.
Yeah, look, possibly. Look, I would probably need to go back and watch Age of Ultron to see how thick she played it then.
Yeah.
But it was definitely a step back for sure.
Yeah.
But still, I think she's a good actress, and I think she suits the role well.
Yeah.
I think she definitely looks the part. And I think that they made mention like quite a few times, or Vision did at least, of how sort of scared everybody is of her.
Yes.
And I think that plays into the whole, she is quite a powerful person. And I think they'll build on that as we go.
Well, yeah, she's easily the most powerful person in the MCU at the moment.
Currently.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we haven't seen Doctor Strange yet.
Well, no, but...
Because she is an apprentice to Doctor Strange, remember?
That's why I said at the moment.
All right.
God.
Sorry. Now, the big reveal, like the big one, the newest person to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I guess, and welcome back to Marvel, Spider-Man, Tom Holland.
Yeah, holy shit, man.
Yeah. Look, we won't talk about it too much because we're going to go through all that, like we said. But Tom Holland, man, what a casting choice.
Oh, man, standing ovation.
Yeah, to whoever made that choice, whoever was the casting director at that particular point in time, well done.
Yeah. And, there was a lot of people worried about it, but holy shit, man.
Oh, man.
Don't worry. He
Do
nailed
not
it.
worry. Oh, he nailed it. He nailed the shit out of it.
Yeah.
All right. As we do. So we're going to talk about some pros and some cons of this movie. As we did with Batman vs. Superman, we're going to start with the cons because I refuse to end on a negative note with these sorts of things.
Yeah, that's right. You got to be positive.
Yeah, you got to be positive. And look, I am going to say this from the start. I know Kade differs a little bit from my opinion. Me personally, any of the cons, as it were, that I have, I feel like I'm really stretching for because I did enjoy this movie. Kade, on the other hand...
Yeah, well, for me, the cons came a little bit easier than Troy. And that's not to say I didn't like this movie. This movie was fucking amazing. But to me, I could find more cons than pros.
Yeah, I was maybe fanboying it out too much. I don't know.
Man, I know I was.
Maybe not as objective as I should have been, considering I was jumping onto the internet to voice my opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
I saw this with my brother.
Okay.
And you know what he's like.
Well, yeah.
And even he had the same concerns that I did.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not just me, you dickhead.
Okay, there's two of you. There is two of you in a world of 7 billion people. Congratulations.
Yes. So,
all right.
we're having our own civil war about the Civil War.
We are. This is an internal civil war. And I'd like to point out that I bought you a present today, especially for this.
Yes.
You have a brand new ceramic Iron Man mug that you are now currently drinking out of, as I am drinking out of my brand new ceramic Captain America mug.
It looks like you're drinking it wrong.
No. Will they still be intact by the end of it? Will I have thrown one at you? Who knows? But let's begin, shall we?
Okay.
As it were. So I guess the first thing that I kind of want to point out. Now, I will point out the fact that this is based on the Civil War comics that came out in 2006, 2007, I believe.
Yep.
loosely based, and I have to say that it's loosely based because if you were going to look at comparisons, there are too many that differ, and so I need to premise it with the fact that it's loosely based. However, when you're looking at this movie, it was really a Captain America and Bucky Barnes versus Iron Man than it was a Civil War.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So I think the whole Sokovia Accords, which is actually the Superhero Registration Act from the comic books, I think that it was I guess it was the main sort of like point. However, it fell to the wayside quite easily
straight away.
Kind of straight away. Yeah. To make way for this whole Bucky Barnes Iron Man conflict.
Yes.
Yeah. And I can honestly say, having seen the movie and being as objective as I'm not, I do believe Cap's actions towards Bucky were probably a little misguided. Like at some point, like I understand that he's his friend,
yes,
as you are mine, but had you killed multiple people, regardless of whether you're mind controlled or not, I don't know if I would have the same friendship feelings towards you.
Yeah, if I saw you out there just massacre some people, I'll be like, yeah, I'm calling the cops.
Yeah, right. Because I think at some point, like and Captain America is so loyal, and that's I guess what he's about. He's about like loyalty and honesty and integrity, and standing up for the little guy and all that sort of stuff, and picking up your mate when he's down and all that. At some point, you've got to stand for justice and law and
yes,
kind of go, you kind of need to be held responsible for your actions.
Yes, exactly. And that's my point, where I feel like this whole Bucky thing was I think it was just a terrible plot point.
Yeah.
For that whole thing, you've nailed it pretty much on the head there.
Yep.
But also there was no investigation done.
Yeah.
Into this whole terrorist attack or anything like that. They've gone off one blurry photo and it's just, that was Bucky.
Okay, that was definitely the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is, of course, so there is an incident at the start of the movie which basically brings about the whole Sokovia Accords. That's fine. That's a separate sort of thing to this. This is the part of the story where a bomb is set off in front of the UN building while they are going to sign the Sokovia Accords.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and it actually kills Black Panther's dad. Can't remember his name. King Panther. Yeah, T'Challa's dad.
Yeah.
And, that kind of leads to the whole, part of the storyline where we'll get to in a bit. We're going to talk about Baron Zemo and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Well, not Baron Zemo, but we're going to talk about Zemo. So you're right, though. That it was very much a let's plaster his face on TV.
Yes.
And it's kind of like, yes, 100% he did it. And while, yes, it did look like him, and he has been accused of doing a lot of things throughout history, I think there could have been a little bit more investigation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was there just to make the movie go quicker.
Yeah.
I can get that.
Okay.
But I just think it was shit.
Okay, that's fair.
And, that goes on to the whole Zemo.
Yeah.
Why use the name?
Yeah. I don't know if they really needed to make him a Zemo, as it were.
No, I don't think so either.
And Zemo, like the whole Baron Zemo thing again, is kind of a mantle that is passed on.
Yes.
And that's fine. There's a very good chance that we might see more of it in the future. But as it stands for this, it was kind of just, a guy whose last name was Zemo, whose family happened to die in the Sokovia incident.
Yep.
That kind of wanted revenge.
Yeah, and that's it. And this guy is just a normal person.
Yeah.
Somehow, he cracked the code that what's her name? Scarlett Johansson's character.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Jesus Christ, man.
Oh, man. Anyway, she put all the Hydra's things onto the internet. You can download them if you could crack the code.
Yeah.
And
she did.
This is a normal guy from a third world country.
Well, look, in all fairness, we don't know that he's a normal guy. He appears to be a normal guy with normal guy motives.
Yes.
But again,
yeah.
Is he a descendant? Will it play on?
Yeah.
Who knows? But in the movie, it was probably, as it stands, if you're looking at a standalone movie, it was probably unnecessary.
Yeah, absolutely. And this normal guy, in brackets, normal,
Yeah.
He was able to get within was that Shield headquarters or was that Avengers headquarters?
It was basically. Look, I honestly can't remember.
It was a government.
It was a government. Well, it actually would have. Yeah, it would have had to have been like a government controlled facility.
Yes.
Because obviously Shield doesn't operate anymore.
That's right.
And the Avengers are now being brought under this Sokovia Act, in being led by the UN.
Yeah.
So government controlled facility.
So this guy could get in here, figured out that Bucky Barnes has a few keywords that can crack him and turn him into a Hydra agent.
Yep.
Like there's no tomorrow.
Yep.
Come on, man. A normal guy.
Again, we don't know that we don't know that he's normal, but it certainly seems that way right now.
Yeah.
One of the things for me that I was really looking forward to that didn't happen, there was no Hulk.
Yeah.
So this was rumored, this was suggested. I think at some point, Anthony Mackie was the one who kind of dropped the bombshell that the Hulk was probably going to appear in the movie, or at least
be part of it. Because he does make an appearance.
Yeah.
Killing some people.
Well, yeah. But look, I think that he's not in the comics either, so don't get me wrong.
No.
He's not there. I think it would have been cool, though. They kind of just played off the fact that he wasn't around.
Yeah.
And I think Black Widow said... I think she said to Iron Man, do you think he'd really be on our side anyway? Do you really want him here?
That's right.
That's fair.
And that's a good point.
That is a very good point. And no Thor or no Cyborg Thor.
Yes.
So from the comics, it's actually the Cyborg Thor that plays an integral part because I believe it's Tony Stark, Reed Richards, and Hank Pym who create this Cyborg Thor from a strand of the real Thor's hair.
Yes.
But what they forget to do is kind of give him any limits, morality, whatever. And he basically gets into his first fight and he kills Goliath right there, just blasts a lightning bolt straight through his chest and kills him while he's in giant form.
Yeah.
And, that doesn't happen. So I think with this, and this is I'm using this as a point to get to something. The whole plot point of Civil War really started to take shape because of that death.
That's right.
And in this, there isn't that. There isn't that drama. There's no death of a major character. There is death. We've mentioned that. T'Challa's dad dies, all that sort of stuff. But ultimately, it's a very Disney version of Civil War.
Oh, absolutely. It's the cookie cutter version.
Yeah. What we get from it is we get James Rhodes or Rhodey or War Machine or whatever you want to call him getting paralyzed by the Vision, but nothing much more comes of it from that. It's kind of it's a bit of a tragedy, but he's living, and he's walking by the end of it with a little help. But
they even make light of the situation. We get the Stan Lee cameo in that same thing. It's Tony Stank here.
Yeah. And look, to be honest with you, a bit of a lame cameo. I love Stanley. I love everything that he's done for us.
Yes.
But, I think at some point, you just need to stop. Stop making Stanley cameos. Is that going too far?
Fuck, you're a hater. Man, you're going to get some hate for that.
I will, and that's fine.
Hashtag hate Troy.
You might want to, hate Troy from Comic Confidential. So not like other Troys are getting hate on, like Troy from High School Musical.
Nah, man, you've started something here.
But I just think this was you're waiting for it. It's it's coming, and they're just not getting any better.
Oh yeah,
this was just a little bit of a package for Mr. Stank.
Yeah,
and and then they they had a bit of a laugh about it and all that sort of stuff.
So you'd actually like to see Stan Lee play an integral part?
Not an integral part, but either be in it or don't.
Yeah.
These little cameos aren't really doing much for me anymore. But I love you. I love you, sir.
You'll be the only person in the world that thinks that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
it's very, very likely. Where were we? We were talking about the fact that there's no death.
Yes.
And I think this movie. And look, I went to see this movie with a mate, and he actually made a pretty good point. He's like, he said something along the lines of, the world is already so dark. Why do we need our movies to be dark as well? Why can't there be a little bit of light and happiness? Why does everything have to be so grim?
Did you go see this with, I think, who you went and saw this with?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
But he has a good point. like he has a good point in the sense that this is Marvel and this is Disney and we know what to expect. So, like I get it. I get why they didn't chase that.
No, but why have a villain?
Because there has to be
Why does there have to be bad guys?
Look, in my opinion, this movie got about as dark as a Marvel movie is going to get. Right? It's not like they didn't have it. I guess if you're going to look at the final fight scene between Iron Man and Captain America and the Winter Soldier,
yeah,
like that was pretty intense.
Yeah,
but that's about as far as it's going to go, and I think that's fine. We'll let DC handle the dark. That's cool. I'm cool with that. Like, let them go.
I'm cool with that too.
We need to stop sort of saying, Marvel movies are so light and fluffy and all that sort of stuff. It's like that's their thing, man.
Oh, of course it is. Actually, this movie would have had to be probably the funniest Marvel movie I've seen.
Yeah,
man, I was laughing all the way through it. It was good fun.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Look, so anyway, I guess the whole premise of this thing, like as we were talking about before, with the Sokovia Accords, kind of faded into obscurity. Wasn't really like much of a focal point. Like, look, it was, but it wasn't like you could almost have not called this movie Civil War.
Oh, absolutely. And the reason for that is because it seemed like no one, apart from Vision, Stark, and Rhodey, understood what it really was.
Yeah.
Everyone else was pretty bratty about it. Especially Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye, who shows up later on, who really had no relation to it.
Initially, I guess.
Yeah.
But why do you say that? Why do you say that that they were bratty about it?
Falcon.
Yes.
Absolute dickhead about it.
Is he though?
Yeah. He couldn't get it. Honestly, it seemed like these characters couldn't get their head around why this needed to happen.
But I think the biggest point as to what they were trying to like get across, or what Team Cap, if you will, were trying to get across, is that it's like it's kind of a who decides then where they go and who they fight and all that sort of stuff. Like, basically, Captain America is saying, if I see somebody in trouble, I'm going to help that person.
Yes.
I don't want somebody telling me that I'm not allowed to go help that person.
Yes.
Or, I don't want somebody to get an agenda and tell me you need to go do this because it's going to suit their agenda. They lose that freedom to basically be able to act when they need to act.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I can see both sides of it, and that's where you need to be.
Yeah.
They couldn't see both sides.
I think there could have been probably some sort of civil, middle ground.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. They were bratty about it. It was kind of like, I want it all my way or nothing.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of what Tony Stark and everybody else is doing? Because they're not looking at their side. I guess if you want to be like that, you could then say that both sides are being bratty about their own arguments.
Yes, but the other people, who are on Tony Stark's side, could see why it needed to happen.
Yeah, but the people who are on Captain America's side could see why it didn't. That's a roundabout argument that could just keep going and going. But it's kind of like I guess it says a lot about like this movie. And one of the things I did like about it, which I was going to talk about later, but we may as well talk about it now, is that this was really like this movie was really a whose side are you on?
Oh, yeah.
And not a Batman vs Superman, like which character do you like
favorite?
more?
Yeah.
Or who do you think would win in a fight? Like, this is a genuine, these are some problems and some decisions that need to be made that could fit very well into our world as it stands. And it becomes a matter of like, what do you believe in? Would you want to be registered, or would you not want to be, would you rather stay free and be able to act of your own accord? Or do you think that, new superheroes and all that sort of stuff should get formal training and all that.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a middle ground.
Yeah.
Come on, I saw your shit out.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There will have to be a middle ground for it.
Yeah, but they don't.
No.
One thing, I guess, the thing that kind of brought about the whole Sokovian Accord as it was the fact that, so we see this awesome battle at the start, like with Crossbones.
Yes.
I thought that whole thing set in Uganda, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was cool. Like the whole thing, like played out really well. Crossbones as a character was cool. And it gets to a point where I think Captain America's got him cornered. So he's like, I'm going to blow you up.
Yes.
So he hits the button on his vest. Bam. Scarlet Witch sort of like contains the blast and, kind of like, I guess, tries to push him up in the air, loses control, and it explodes into the side of a building, killing 11 people.
Yeah. Where's the tragedy in it?
Well, there is tragedy in the fact that 11 Wakandan aid workers die.
Yes.
Again, in the comic books, it's a much bigger scale sort of. I believe.
Yeah.
Like hundreds of people die.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure it was a reality TV show.
Yeah.
Of some teenage superheroes who go in to get this bad guy.
The New Warriors, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And basically a school blows up, killing every kid in the school.
Yeah.
This is what this movie needed to have, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was never, again,
yeah, of course.
Going to Disney and Marvel, it was never going to happen. But, I think what they then tried to do, they kind of pushed that aside, and then they started to talk about the events from Age of Ultron and what happened in Sokovia.
Yeah.
Because obviously that was a lot more tragic. They never actually mention how tragic. They never talk about who, how many people died or anything like that.
There's actually, if you might have missed it, there's actually a counter up there.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, but...
Was there a lot?
No.
Oh.
No, that's the thing. You might be talking thousands.
Okay. But, in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things, but a couple of thousand?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I did miss that, by the way. Thanks for pointing that out.
No worries.
But yeah, so we started to focus more on the events of Age of Ultron, Sokovia, and what happened, and that kind of brings us as to why Baron Zemo, or Zemo, gotta stop saying Baron Zemo, was the way that he was, and that's fine. There are just some things that I wish they had have taken from the comic books that they could have, that they didn't.
Yeah, I get you.
It's not going to be like a, here are the Civil War comics, here's the movie that's going to perfectly mirror that. But there are some things that they could have done a little bit better. Again, I'm stretching. I loved it. But yeah. I guess, though, I remember us having this conversation earlier. There was one thing you were saying about the pacing of the movie that you didn't really enjoy.
Yeah, well, the pacing of the movie as a whole was pretty good. Because what did it go for, 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours. Felt like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, I looked at my phone maybe once or twice to see how long it's gone.
Right.
But the pacing that I'm referring to that was a little off was how everyone was just kind of in places.
Yeah.
Hawkeye showing up at the mansion.
Yep.
Ant-Man showing up at the airport.
Yep.
Everyone showing up at the airport.
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess they didn't really talk about how, I think it was Falcon or like Sam Wilson or whatever you want to call him. Anthony Mackie said that, I know a guy.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming he was referring to Hawkeye, who also knew a guy, I guess, in Scott Lang.
Yes.
But they didn't really sort of touch on that. They didn't touch on why those people wanted to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's it.
You could point towards, Scott Lang being an ex-criminal anyway. Maybe he's kind of would prefer his identity to be, kept hidden. I don't know.
Yeah.
And they don't really touch on it. And I guess you're right in that sense that, it was all very kind of rushed together. Here we are.
Yeah.
Let's kind of they've got two opposing sides. Let's battle.
Yeah, that's it.
But that's that's fair. The whole pacing of the movie, though, like you said, I thought was good.
Yeah,
I thought the whole thing. However, do you want to move into some pros? Have you got anything else to You probably do.
I do. But this. If I say this, it's like a con that leads into probably the best pro of this movie.
Okay.
And I don't know if you want me to move into this one just yet.
Oh, you do what you got to do, champ.
All right. So, this movie, the best thing it had to offer was SpiderMan.
The best thing?
It was the best thing this movie had to offer.
It was great. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. But to take away from the rest of the movie just for the 5 minutes in total that Spider-Man was on screen, I think that's a bit rough. But look, we said it before.
Yeah.
Tom Holland was a perfect casting choice,
mate, unreal.
And Spider-Man, thank you, for to whoever made this decision to bring Spider-Man back to Marvel, and they've created this character that is probably the best well, not probably, like the best
Easily.
on-screen Spider-Man that we've seen.
Yeah.
So much more true to the comics.
He's like ripped from the pages. But do you want to talk about that like a little bit later on?
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's just,
Just
we're
because-
just wrap in here.
Just because it leads on to, in my opinion, the worst con is that I feel like this really didn't do much like to set up Phase 3 for the MCU. Only thing
Yeah.
was, of course, Spider-Man and Black Panther. And how many people are really going to care about Black Panther? He's a pretty obscure character.
Well, he's obscure if you don't read comic books, sure.
Well, to the mainstream.
yeah.
He's a little bit obscure. Yeah, I know. Just wasn't the best launching platform, in my opinion, for Phase 3.
You, sir, are a negative Nelly. I said it. There, I said it. Excuse my language, everyone.
I'll bleep that out.
Can you? I think what it does, like, it sets us up for Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yeah, but that's also going to be a bit of a different franchise.
But that's part of Phase 3, Kate.
Yes.
It's part of Phase 3, as is the Black Panther, which, this movie, it gives us our launching pad into it. It gives you a glimpse of the character without giving you too much of the character. And then, you're kind of like, oh, shit, I want to see more about that. And then that launches us into the Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
You could technically even say, if you wanted to stretch it a little bit, that Civil War leads into Doctor Strange in the sense that Doctor Strange, while not an integral part of the storyline of Civil War, the comic, he was the biggest abstainer from both sides. He actually went and went on a famine, like a fast, for as long as the conflict lasted. I think a Watcher said to him, like, you could end this at any time if you wanted to.
Yes.
And he's like, I need to see the right side come through. But not only that, it also gives us two separate teams of, like, what you would call Avengers, I guess. So you've got Tony Stark's Avengers, and then you've got Captain America's kind of more underground Avengers, which is very much similar to how the comic books run as well. That's going to lead into Avengers Infinity War, bringing those groups back together. Ant-Man was in it. He's got Ant-Man and Wasp coming out in Phase 3.
Oh, shit. I missed a great con. Oh, no, we haven't got the project.
Just calm down.
Oh, my God. I got so
calm
excited.
down. But do you know what I mean? So, like, it has all its links into Phase 3. I thought it was fine.
Yeah. I don't think it... yeah. Agree to disagree.
Civil War.
That's fine.
Pros.
Let's
do some pros. Now,
Okay.
we spoke about how weird it was, how they got everybody together for the airport fight scene and all that sort of stuff. However, the airport fight scene.
It was fucking awesome.
Holy shit.
Yes.
That thing was fucking great. And initially I was a little bit worried about how it was going to play out with there being like a total of 10 or 11 characters or something.
In such a big, open, flat space.
Yeah, but man, like they nailed it. Like, this was some of the funnest shit that I've seen on screen in a long time.
And, it was almost like everyone was obviously kind of pulling their punches.
Yeah.
And I
Of
think,
course.
Yeah, and I think it made for a more fun fight.
Yeah, definitely. And I think someone along the lines referenced the fact that I think it was Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
reference
she
to
did.
Hawkeye that you're pulling your punches and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And and that's cool. And you're right. Like it's sort of like it played out into a much bigger scope because people weren't trying to kill each other. It was just kind of like they were just punching on.
Yeah.
To try to get their point across. I guess
Yeah.
I don't know, but I want to give big props to Spider-Man again in this whole part. Funny as shit.
Fuck,
and
amazing.
showing us this this side of Spider-Man that we've been waiting for so long, where he just won't shut the fuck up. Yeah. He just keeps talking, keeps making jokes, keeps cracking wires, all that sort of stuff.
And even the Falcon says, "Hey kid, is this your first fight?
Yeah,
you're not supposed to talk this much."
Yeah, exactly. I think it was good. I think some of the interactions as well, now that you mentioned that, between Falcon and the Winter Soldier were pretty funny.
Yeah.
But also, big mention, and pun intended for big mention, would have to go to Ant-Man, Scott Lang, Paul Rudd. Funny as shit.
Yes.
If Spider-Man was not in this movie, Paul Rudd would have stolen that whole thing for
Easy.
sure. And we finally got to see Giant Man, which we knew was coming thanks to fucking Lego. From last year or whatever. But man, fuck, that was great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Even just the scene where he's big and you see his eyes light up.
Yeah, he's
It's
oh my god.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious.
It was unreal, and I think it was good to see. So who was he kind of like? I guess he was kind of distracting everybody while Captain America and the Winter Soldier sort of ran
Bailed.
away.
Yeah.
Bailed to go to
the Quinjet.
yeah.
That's just laying in a hangar.
Yeah, it's just over there, but someone parked it there earlier. But that whole thing, when everybody started to focus their attacks, I guess, on Ant-Man or Giant Man, as it were, like, that was cool. Spider-Man's, Star Wars references.
Yeah,
like,
that's
have you seen
real
this really
cool.
old movie, like, it's all that sort of stuff.
And
that
everyone's
was
like,
cool as shit.
Tony, how old's this guy?
Yeah, it was great. So that to me was the scene stealer of this whole movie.
Yeah.
But the action sequences as a whole in this movie was spot on. There were a couple little parts where if I wanted to be really, 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 really picky, I could say the CGI was a little bit off and, stuff like that. But I think Black Panther, Captain America, Winter Soldier chase through the tunnel in Berlin. That whole thing was brilliant. From the rooftop fight to the whole, running through the streets, all that sort of stuff.
Yep. How cool was that scene when Captain America was driving that car, started tumbling, and as it's tumbling, he's just run out of it?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool as shit.
I was just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm done. That's all I need to see.
Yeah.
I've seen enough here. I thought that was cool. And, of course, the big final fight scene between Iron Man, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
I'm surprised that at some point with the Black Panther being present, he didn't jump in.
That was kind of weird.
It was kind of weird because he was there.
Yeah.
But, he had his own, sort of like
his own agenda.
That's fine. But, like, that fight scene was great. There are a couple of things I didn't like. When you're looking at, and again, comic books, and I've got to stop referring to it.
Yeah.
But in the comic books, when Iron Man and Captain America first fight, Iron Man sort of kicks the shit out of him and says, like, I've basically, I have analyzed all of your moves. I know every punch you've ever thrown.
Yeah.
And all that sort of stuff. And I have it built into the system. And I know what you're going to do before you even know what you're going to do. In this, it's kind of like, oh, hey, Friday, can you just, like, analyze his fighting style?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like 4 or 5 punches. And then it's like, oh, okay, now I know how to beat him.
Yeah.
And it's like Captain America is a master of hand-to-hand combat. 4 or 5 punches is not going to help you analyze how to beat him. So that was a bit of a letdown. What was cool as shit, though, is there's a part where, and it was a promotional image that was released as well, and it was Captain America holding up his shield as I think Iron Man had his repulsor rays out and all that sort of stuff.
How the camera just panned around and even stopped.
Yeah, stopped so you could see it.
It's almost like, get your phones out, here's a new background.
Yeah, like, it was cool, and it was ripped right off the cover of Civil War #7.
Yeah.
And to me, that was great. I thought that was awesome. Another thing, going back to another fight scene, Black Panther scratching, like, Captain America's shield.
That was cool.
That was cool as shit.
Yeah. How he's getting shot with those, that would have to be some pretty heavy duty bullets coming out
of a helicopter. Yeah.
And they just ding, ding, ding off him.
Yeah, nothing.
And ain't nothing but a thing.
Ain't nothing but a G thing.
Yes.
So that was cool. So you could say a lot about that sort of stuff. I think you referenced it earlier about how the movie was actually quite funny.
Yeah.
One of the funniest movies in a while. And I think, because I haven't really seen, like, I guess a Marvel movie for a little bit, and I kind of forget how much you do actually laugh in these things. Because I think that's good. It's a good little bit of escapism, like how they can actually find the time to make these little jokes while all this shit is happening around them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're professionals, so,
and, I feel like there was more jokes in this movie than any other one. And, they're not all big belly laugh ones, but there's ones where Tony is, having talks with the government, and they're like, oh, did you bring your suit? And he's like, oh, yeah, just this 3-piece.
Yeah, 3-piece Tom Ford, all that sort of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that is kind of good.
Yeah, I think one thing that I liked as well, and again, it's going to a fight scene, is they showed pretty much at every point they could how superior the Black Panther is to almost everybody when it comes to hand-to-hand fighting.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was ever
ever beaten.
or overpowered
Yep.
or anything like that. Like if you want to like go into it, I guess you could say the part where Black Widow was, sort of like shocking him with a thing, whatever that thing is, a stun gun.
What are you going to do about that?
But yeah,
I'm surprised they could actually get through his suit.
Well, that's true too, but they are quite powerful. It's not just your standard like cop taser or or something like that. Like it's quite powerful, so that's fine. I like that's cool. Whatever, if that's what you want to do, that's sweet. I think again, like even when you go into when Captain America's Avengers, if you want to call them that, get captured, and I think Tony Stark goes to see them, and he has a little bit of an interaction with Hawkeye. And then he walks past Ant-Man or Scott Lang, and he's mouthing off, and he's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, who are you?
And he's like, "Oh, come on, man!" That was cool.
Yeah.
I think the writing was great. Again, the pacing was really good. I still, having seen the movie, and I'm off to go see it again. I think I'm still definitely Team Cap.
Yeah.
Yep. Haven't changed my mind on that.
Wow.
But I would, and I know you're not going to agree with me, and that's fine. But I would go so far as to call this probably my favorite movie so far.
Okay.
Yeah. And look, to be fair, I'm talking about Marvel movies.
Yes.
And to be fair, I've only seen it once so far.
Yeah. Okay.
But the fact that I've seen it once, and I'm very, very excited to get back and see it again. I like. This is nothing against Batman vs. Superman, because I still think that movie was really good.
Yes.
Right? But I said that I was going to go back and see it very quickly. I never got around to doing it. This movie, though, I will make sure that I get back and see it again very quickly, because I thought it was great. Like, I have to give the people credit where credit is due. I think the Russo brothers have done a really good job bringing this to the big screen. I think the fact that it went for 140-something minutes and it didn't feel like it, I think that was very much to do with the direction, with the pacing, with the action, and with the writing. Yep. I think that was all pretty cool. But I could talk about that type of stuff forever. Like I could talk about how great I thought it was till the dawn of time, as it were.
Yep.
However, let's talk about a few little Easter eggs that people might have missed.
Yes. Okay.
What have you got? What do you want to talk about?
I think this is pretty classic.
Yeah.
It's from Avengers 223.
Yes.
This is Ant-Man taking flight on Hawkeye's arrow.
Yes. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
And you saw it in the trailer.
The trailer.
But I think how it played off of that was even better, where he actually gets inside Iron Man's suit and he kind of like starts talking and all that sort of stuff, and Iron Man's like, who the hell is that talking? And anyway, and they turn on the fire suppressant thing or whatever, and and he gets out and all that sort of stuff. But that was cool. One that I picked up on was one of Bucky's trigger words to turn him into the Winter Soldier was homecoming.
Yeah.
Now, whether that was an actual reference to the thing or not, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think it really matters, but
stuck out for me too.
Yeah, would you put it in there if it wasn't? Like, I don't know. Anyway,
who knows?
Who knows?
Stanley cameo. Yeah, you've already
spoke about it, I guess, but it was funny, but it probably didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
Says you. Says me. However, one thing I would have liked to have seen is in the comics again, and I know I said that I wouldn't reference them anymore, but in the comics again, like the whole prison was actually in the negative zone, which I would have thought would have actually been pretty cool if they had like done it or referenced it.
Yeah, especially with Doctor Strange coming up.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's an area that he
frequents.
Yeah. Visits quite a lot.
And in the negative zone, again, it's called Prison 42. It's created, again, by, I think, Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Hank Pym. They're like the main sort of guys behind this whole thing.
Yeah. The Illuminati.
Ooh.
That's real.
Yeah, it is. I've got my triangle up right now over my eye.
Settle down, Jay-Z.
So the negative zone, like, it would have been cool. It's like a prison that houses like all these like baddies, bad guys.
Yeah,
whatever you want to
naughty
call
people,
naughty peeps. However, we get the underwater vault that we see, which is okay. It's cool. I don't know. I guess what I'm like trying to get at is the fact that I would have liked to have seen the negative zone.
Yeah, I just don't. The MCU's just not at that point yet. So.
It's not, and that's fine. One thing we do get to see though.
Yes, we get to see Wakanda.
We do.
Just very, very
very briefly.
Yeah, briefly.
Very briefly in a post-credit scene.
Yes.
So where we kind of find Bucky,
Yeah.
Winter Soldier, whatever you want to call him.
Get him frozen
Get
again.
him frozen again. Get a new deal, guy.
Until he's like, and freeze me until I can sort my shit out.
Yeah, basically.
I'm a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah. I've got boy problems. Freeze me until, you can find a way to unscramble my mind, as it were.
Yeah.
And it would seem that that Black Panther is definitely on the side of Captain America, and that's great.
Yep.
But yeah, what we do see, a little bit of the technology that makes Wakanda so advanced.
Yeah.
But then they pan out, and there it is, the jungle, the giant Black Panther.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I had some dickheads in the cinema laughing. Oh, why is there a big cat?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is that a serious thing?
I got up and I wanted to slap them.
If you were listening, the reason there is a giant black cat, you idiots, is because it's called the Black Panther. And the Black Panther is a mantle that is passed from generation to generation. There you go. I've said, what else do I need to say?
You bloody dickheads.
It's obviously a large part of their whole culture or whatnot. Whatever. Dickheads.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. So, where do you think the MCU's headed now?
Look, I think it is in pretty great hands, to be honest with you. I know you kind of disagreed that this wasn't the best launching platform for it. Doctor Strange is looking to be awesome. Phase 3 is looking strong as a whole. However, we now kind of have to wait for November for Doctor Strange, and then I think it's like March or May next year for Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So there's a long way to go between now and when Phase 3, continues to kick on.
Yeah.
We've got a little bit to watch in the meantime. You've got Apocalypse, Suicide Squad, all that sort of stuff. But I think all this is building towards introducing these new characters and bringing us towards Infinity Wars.
Yes. Okay.
What about you?
I don't know.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know if the way this ended was the best way for the MCU to go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping Doctor Strange is going to fix that.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's their Hail Mary, in my opinion, for launching the Phase 3.
Okay.
But let's wait and see.
Let's see. Give it a chance, I guess.
Because,
I challenge you to go back and watch the movie again.
You going to pay for me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
All right. One other thing I kind of wanted to ask you, ask what your opinion was, is how many films do you think Chris Evans has left as Captain America?
Wasn't his contract for 6?
Yeah, but there's no reason why they couldn't extend that if they wanted to.
Well, no, that was like Tony... sorry, not Tony Stark.
Yeah, Tony Stark's Robert Downey Jr. character.
Yeah. God, those two look so alike.
Yeah, you never see him in the same room at the same time.
Yeah. No, but he was the same. He was only contracted for a few.
Yeah.
And he's...
Look how many he's done. It's like 14,000, I think.
And, what did he get, $200 million or something for Age of Ultron?
Yeah, I don't know. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I guess... kind of what I'm trying to get at, because if you look at the comic books as they go,
yes,
at some point, Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson, so Winter Soldier and Falcon, do take on the mantle of Captain America.
Yes. Well, it's originally Bucky Barnes first, and then Falcon takes it on a little bit after.
Yeah, so and I do know that guy's name has escaped me. The guy who actually plays Bucky Barnes, what's his name?
Joe Smith.
Yeah, Joe Smith. Stan... someone. No, it's not even Stan. Sebastian Stan. Yes, it is. Thank you, my own brain, for thinking that up. But anyway, he is signed on for I think he's signed on for like 9 movies in total.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so there's a very good chance that...
That's so fucking disappointing.
Well, look,
he's a shit character.
Give it a chance. I don't know whether, there was talk that Captain America was going to die at the end of this movie, potentially, or, that's... kind of how they were going to move on with it. I'd never thought that was going to happen.
No.
Personally, I don't think he'll die in Infinity Wars, but I think he will retire at some point, and I think the mantle will be passed on to one of these two.
Yeah.
I believe, Chris Evans probably has the 2 movies left.
Okay.
Infinity Wars Part 1 and Part 2.
Yep.
With maybe an appearance here and there before that. Who knows?
See how it rolls.
But yeah, let's look. Hopefully they do something good with the character, because Chris Evans has owned it. It's his.
Yeah, that's it.
I think it would be kind of a little bit weird to see somebody else play Captain America now.
I don't think it'll be weird. I just think it has to be done in the right way.
Yeah.
And I'll be bitterly disappointed if the Winter Soldier Honestly, he's just terrible.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair.
He's frozen. He's frozen.
Well, his acting is frozen.
Yeah.
Well, look. To be fair, he only has a certain role to play, doesn't
Yes.
he? Okay. Final kind of bit.
Okay.
Before we wrap it up, praise, decry, do what you will. Tell me your final thoughts.
My quick summary.
Your quick summary, and give me a rating out of 100.
Oh, okie dokie. Love SpiderMan.
Okay.
Made the movie for me.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I'll go see it just for that.
Okay.
I wish they did a little bit more Black Panther, but I do understand he has a solo movie coming.
Yep.
He just felt like he popped up in random places at random times.
Yep.
Not the best launching platform for Phase 3.
Yep.
But we'll see how it goes. Out of 100, I'm going to give this...
We need like a drum roll.
Yeah,
we need something because I feel this is building to something that I'm going to throw something at you.
Yeah. All right. Out of 100,
Yep.
I'm going to give it 75.
Holy shit. Are you serious?
Mate, that's
75.
not bad.
Do you remember what you gave Batman vs.
Yeah, I
Superman?
do. 88.
And you're giving this a 75. What is the main justification for such a low score, considering how it sits everywhere else? Your biggest bugbear.
My biggest bug
Yeah.
is my thing was everything just felt off.
Okay.
Things were just happening for the sake of happening for the movie.
Okay, and that's fair. You're
Yeah.
entitled to your opinion. Stupid as it is.
Shut up, dickhead.
For me, obviously, if you haven't figured it out, I am full of praise for this film. Like, I don't really have a lot bad to say about it. Like I said, I was kind of stretching. I do think, I think the Russo brothers have done a really good job. I think the pacing was great. I think the action scenes were probably some of the best that we've seen. What it does for Phase 3, we will see soon enough. But to me, this is by far my favorite Marvel movie so far. Probably, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy is right up there as well.
That's the best one.
So don't get me wrong, it is right up there, but these two are very comparable. I might still edge Guardians of the Galaxy over Civil War, maybe. I don't know. Let me go see it again. I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy like a million times.
To be fair, Guardians of the Galaxy had an unfair thing going for it, is that you had no expectations.
Well, that's true. That's exactly true. Very good point. So for me, 75 out of 100 sounds insane.
Mate, that's still pretty bloody good.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it? I think that's borderline average movie. That's like you're giving this movie a 7.5 out of 10, mind you.
Yes.
I know
well
math.
done. That's still pretty good.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. For me, I'm going to give it a solid 90. Actually, that even sound like, I don't know. I think I don't want to go crazy with these ratings.
What do you want to give it? 105 out of 100?
Can I? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Is that a number that I can give it?
You can do that.
All right, well, I give it 105 out of 100. I think there was...
Best movie ever.
Best movie that has ever been made. All sorts of Academy Awards coming its way. Look, it had its brief problems, but I loved it. I'm going to stick with... I'll give it a 93. I'm just making up numbers now.
Okay. 75.
75, 93.
93.
Let us know what you thought about the movie, because that's it for us. We are done. We have spoken about it. We have given our thoughts, but let us know what you think. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, that's it. Don't forget to
subscribe.
Find us on iTunes.
Yeah. Stitcher. We're there.
Leave us a review on iTunes. That'll be great.
Yeah, you can do that if you want.
Be super duper.
Yeah. Don't forget, we're on Facebook. As you know, we're just there. Facebook, Comic Confidential Podcast. We're just running with it. We don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Instagram and Twitter at Comic Con Pub.
Pub? You want to go to the pub?
Yeah, we're going to go to the pub straight after this. So Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Comic Con Pod, and the website comicconpod.com. Yeah, that's it.
Give us your reviews. Let us know.
Yeah, look. And if you haven't seen it and you decided to stick with us, we are so sorry.
I'm not. You're a dickhead for listening.
Look, thanks once again for listening. As always, I'm Troy.
I'm Kade.
And this has been Comic Confidential.
Peace.
Peace. It's my thing.